making the jump. I'm like, why do I not have that yet? I need to go get that.
I think it's so crazy that he hasn't minted out yet.
It's bananas. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Ooh, Boogie's ready. Show request. Let him
Boozy.
up. Invite. See if it works. Do. So the point, I guess, of these happy hours is we're just going to hang out once a week and just talk all things stacks, where we're going. And I don't know. I feel like we need a more public space for the community to just get to know each other, hang out, and say what's up. So Boozy, how you doing?
Good. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Pretty all right.
I'm hard at the fiat mine, so if I just leave abruptly, sorry.
It's okay. We all have to get there somewhere. So how long you been doing art for?
My whole life, really. I mean, even as a kid, I was, doing graffiti and painting all the places I shouldn't be painting,
Same.
and then just kind of, went to school for graphic design, and that clearly didn't pay out well. I mean, I would have graduated and was going to make less than I was at my current job that I was working at the time, and end up working for some 16-year-old graphic design kid or something, who knows. So I just kind of gave up on it for a while, and then went to painting and doing local shows, and putting my paintings up in like diners and whatnot in the area, and made a whole like $600 over the course of 5 years doing that.
Big money right there.
And like, oh my God, NFTs are really, like, I hate to sound like it's about money. It's not, but like, I couldn't believe how like lucrative it was, like seeing everyone make all this money on these projects. And then, like I mentioned in the spaces yesterday, like the royalty part of it, the percentage you get after every time it sells was like game changing for me. Like, you can sell a painting or sell an artwork and like forever make money on that. It's kind of blew my mind.
How's that been? This is a totally personal question. You do not have to answer. But how, as an artist, how have you seen the royalties work out with your, stuff trading back and forth?
Not really, not that great, but I think because my collections are so small, so there's that hodl aspect of them. I'm noticing, looking at the volume on my collections, it's pretty minor, which is totally fine. I like the idea of people wanting to collect the art rather than just kind of flip it and trade it.
Yeah.
It's a give and take, I guess, right? It's like you could either set your stuff up to get traded a whole bunch, or you could just, people can enjoy it and like everyone wants to hold it,
Yeah, and I really appreciate seeing people sell it. Like the first collection, the Booze Brain collection, I remember like the night it minted out, someone sold one for, I don't know, it was 420 STX. They always use those funny meme numbers, but I couldn't believe it. And I was so into the fact that this person who minted it for 24 SDX made that huge of a return on my work within less than a day. I thought it was just so cool that someone could kind of flip it and make a little bit of profit, instant return like that.
Yeah, that is so cool. And I think, like, to your point, I guess you haven't seen a lot. There's the hodl aspects. Like, we're only a year into this. Could you imagine what 5 years, 20 years might look like?
Yeah.
And the returns on that, I don't know. I think that gets me really excited.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Megapon's volumes of time, and I'm like, man, they made this much in just volume. And of course, you do the math, and the percentages they're potentially taking on that. And these Megapon apes will probably flip and trade hands for, I don't know, forever. It's like that income is always going to be there now, and they can do whatever they want with the project because there's always that stream of revenue.
Yeah, I need to get me a Megapon ape.
Oh, you don't have an ape? You got to get an ape.
No, I got to get an ape. I know that's like my holy grail at this point. If I can work my way up to that and get there, maybe I can get JNAP to sell me one. He's got enough. Jamil, you're here. Request to speak, and let's talk all things Gamma. Because
bring him up.
I was, I don't know, shocked. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for inviting me to this happy hour.
Bro, there's so much to talk about. And just happened to we do these every Friday just to kick back, say what's up, and kind of discuss the news. And the news is Gamma, is all that's what's happening.
Yeah,
what's up, Jake?
Did Jake just make a Sardaukar throat singing sound from Dune.
That was someone's badass Vespa rolling by as I went for my tacos.
Nice.
Sorry, Jamil, I interrupted you.
No problem. Yeah, it had been a little bit of a long time coming. We'd been planning a rebrand for a little while. I think STX NFT is it was a great name. The first thing that we built, and Jake might remember this too. He's been in the space for a long time, and I know he used the platform super early on. It was just like a place where you could view your NFT, right? I noticed I bought some Stacks Punks, I had bought some NFTs across from different places, and I just wanted to see them. Everybody out in the space back then was out there to make money, right? They were there to do mints, try and be super extractive, and then nobody thought to build the simple shit, right? Nobody thought to build, where do I just see which NFTs that I own? Well, how do I transfer an NFT from one wallet to another? Everybody just wanted to sell something to somebody else. And I think that's where STX NFT started. It was just how do we build the tools that nobody's really building because they're not profitable, right? Like a gallery view or a transfer thing. And so stxnft.com was perfect for that. It's the tools that you can do with Stacks NFTs, right? And sort of the logical extension of that was then helping other artists launch their collections, because people like Stacks Art just were being very gatekeepy with their mints, and then they were charging 30% commissions for NFT mints. I remember the first few NFT mints we did, we charged 1%. That was we would go from 30% to 1. That was kind of stupid on my part, honestly, because I wasn't even making any money to pay for the servers or I was spending my own personal money to run the site, right?
Jeez.
Right.
But which was the total opposite. I'm the stupidest person when it comes to business stuff. I make the wrong decisions when it comes to pricing and all of that stuff, because I'm just thinking what's useful to make, right? And so from that very utilitarian perspective, I think STX NFT was great, right? I literally went on name.com. I was let me just see if this is free. And it was a 5-minute decision on what to name it. But I think as we build up this platform and as get a more cohesive idea of what we want to build, leaning on the creator aspect, the creator tools, the social aspect, not to mention the core marketplace. I mentioned this in the thread. It's not really about the STX, although that's where we all live. That's where we're all building. It's not even really about the NFT, right? We want to build up a brand that stands for the values and the principles that we believe in, rather than associating it too closely with something that's very, very focused and very very prescriptive.
Yeah, I love that the original focus, and I think when you go to Gamma, you kind of feel this too, and we'll get into that. But you focus with art first,
yeah,
and a place to display the gallery. And when I pull up Gamma.io, the first thing I see is the 3 big spots for you have your Shafts of Light, which is non-ish, you have Megapont, and then the sponsored one in the middle. And I just love that your focus is on a place to display your art, to have your art there. And I think that's really cool. I also think STX NFT was name gold. The SEO value was so good. So I'm curious on why you went with Gamma. There's got to be a story there, so let's hear it.
Yeah, we had been planning around. Well, first of all, on the homepage, I think that's totally right. We want to make the branding as unopinionated as possible when it comes to the art, right? Because on the homepage, right, it shouldn't be Gamma that stands out and has the color. You notice that our colors are very black and white, right? So the branding itself, we really want the color. If there's any color that pops, it should be color from the art, basically. Or if there's anything that really stands out to you, it should be from the art. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is when you scroll down and you look at what we feature the top collections. And one thing that we added more recently was the top collectors. And that section over there, we're very intentional about the way we do the design for this as well. We showcase their PFP, right? We showcase their BNS name, and we showcase which NFTs they've collected. And then the statistics of like the amount they spend or the number of NFTs are less prominent, right? We really want to bring up their like name, their bio, their identity, their PFP, and the NFTs that they've collected. It makes it a lot more personal. It's not really about statistics or numbers or like, you know, who's doing the most volume or who's doing the most. It's about surfacing the things that make you like unique as an individual rather than you know, you're just another number in the sea of statistics or whatever. Talking about the name, so we had been brainstorming a lot about different names early on. Like this is even December, January, so this is like months and months in the making, and we really wanted to get it right. You know, a lot of names felt either too, you know, maybe pretentious or too long, too focused on stacks or whatever. And I think Gamma was really nice because that connection between like the third letter of the Greek alphabet, the third age of internet computing, you know, I think that really stuck with us. It's also a name that I feel like we can own and start to form our own identity around. You know, stacks and NFTs have their own connotations. They have their own like already cultural baggage that comes with it. And we want the flexibility to help define, you know, our own identity, our creators, and help our creators identify themselves, you know, with what they feel is important to them, and not just have to take on, you know, the existing inertia behind these other names that already carry so much weight.
Yeah, I mean, the name Stacks NFT, it was hard. Well, the name was STX NFT, right? But it was hard to talk about NFTs on Stacks without talking about STX NFT. And now you have, and that went both ways, is what I'm hearing you say, right? It's like when people were talking about your platform that we were working hard to create, it came with all of the baggage that comes with Stacks and that comes with NFTs. And I think that's a really good point where Gamma opens you up to just be able to do more with your brand without having any expectations because of the name, right?
Yeah, and I think, you know, we might be giving up on like that capture of that when people talk about Stacks NFTs or SDX NFTs, they immediately think about us. But, you know, it's not about the short term and trying to be like super extractive with this stuff or try and be sneaky or whatever, right?
Yeah.
We just want to help people like, yeah, just be as clear as committed as we can to making the best platform we can.
Yeah, and it doesn't hold you back or hold you to anything, right? If you want to start, you know, doing anything outside of NFTs or outside of Stacks, it's a little bit easier to do that, right? On SDX NFT, if you were selling Solana stuff, it would be like, what? You know, like that wouldn't make any sense. But now it seems more possible.
I think where that really comes into play is not so much with other chains like Ethereum and Solana, but with the Bitcoin connection as well. Like, yeah. I think a lot of people, when you talk, especially outside the Stacks ecosystem, of NFTs on Bitcoin, and then you say, well, we're STX NFT or Stacks NFT, it's like, that's not really a clear messaging, right? And I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the technical side to make that clearer and more possible. But there's also work on the branding and messaging that we needed to do.
100%.
Do you think
you did a good job?
Yeah, you did a great job. Do you think that you're doubling down on NFTs on Bitcoin versus going cross-chain? Is that what you're kind of thinking?
Yeah, I sort of see Bitcoin, like the value proposition that we have is Bitcoin is like the most, and we believe this very strongly, that Bitcoin is the most secure settlement layer for your assets. And people trust Bitcoin overwhelmingly, right, to store their money. You know, when you look at even institutions like that we look at, like, you know, Goldman Sachs or whatever, right? They trust Bitcoin. Despite this, Ethereum has a ton more volume, right? They're doing like $20 billion or whatever in NFT trading volume, despite Bitcoin having a much larger market cap and a much larger store of value. So there's an incredible opportunity there. And I think that's the whole value proposition of Stacks, right? Stacks was never meant to be another one of these L1s that competes on the same sort of things, right? There's a million L1s that promise lower transaction fees, faster transaction times that are just Solana plus something else, or Ethereum with faster transaction times. Like you have Solana, you have Avalanche, which is like Solana plus EVM, and you have all of these different chains that compete on the same thing. I don't believe that's the future, right? I think the future is you're going to see people come to the most secure, the most decentralized blockchain there is, and I'm a very strong believer in it. So I think that's the angle we want to move towards.
This is good. I know you have a limited amount of time. This is a question I saw in the Nonish Discord. They were talking about the rebrand, and they want to talk about the logo. Somebody was like, I know what the Greek letter gamma looks like, and that's not it. Do you want to talk about the logo? What's going on there?
Yeah, actually, when we first chose the name, I was like, yeah, we should just use the gamma character, as a logo. But again, it's one of those things that's like, it's very hard to form your own identity around something that already carries, unlike Stacks, which maybe has like a year of history. That letter has maybe, a couple thousand years of history, right? I think we also had a chance to express ourselves. Like we were really coming from a point where we're trying to form our own identity, and we're trying to form our own blueprint for how we can progress in the future. And I think this logo, it sort of allows us to capture some of that in it. I mean, like a lot of thinking went into it, right? Like it's a very simple logo, but the core principle of it is we have our convergence of these three pillars coming together as a community. Three for Web3, right? It's like pointing upward. It looks like a chalice or a grail, And I think that there's a lot of this symbolism that goes into a very simple logo. And that we had just a blast, working with our branding agency, designing and coming up with these ideas and iterating on it.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, Raelion. I know you want to talk about branding.
I mean, my first thought was the logo is for like what, from the Hulk's perspective, the gamma radiation coming over him is what I thought it was going to be. No, that was a terrible comic book joke. Didn't land.
Oh, that was a joke? My bad.
No, I like it. I honestly, it's clean and I've been, I've been designing logos for almost 20 years now, and there is something really cool about that, the connection to the three and the idea of a chalice, and that there being that sense of like, this item that is valuable, this like holy grail type thing. That's a really cool connection that I didn't even think about until you brought it up, but it still evokes that feeling looking at the logo, at the icon, and yeah, it's throughout the new site too. It's like very apparent, what your focus is on and what you're trying to get across. I'm geeking out a little bit.
The other thing that was super important there was making sure that, like, look, I come from an engineering background, right? I'm a programmer. I'm not a designer. I'm not a person that is super experienced in branding. And I think one of the important things when building a site when building a product in Web3, and I think fewer people do this, is to just make sure you have that humility to say, look, I don't know these things, right? And bring in people that are, more experienced in those fields like branding and design, and be able to just say like, hey, these are the ideas, these are the directions we want to go in, and get people to help you, and build up a team that is strong and holistic, and not just looking at things from the engineering or statistics or data perspective, and really looking at it from a broader perspective of not only community but design, product development, and all of these things. They sort of come together to form this. So it looks like it's something that, I'm maybe more of a public face, but it's like everybody, there's so many people contributing to this, and so many people helping, bring this site, this branding, this product to the space it is right now.
Yeah, and we talk about this all the time. This is something that's really missing in the NFT space in general, because the standard team, as you know, that we see with NFT projects or, you know, services or whatever, you have an artist and you have a developer. Well, neither of those people are like naturally inclined to think about branding or messaging or the stuff that's going to help your customer understand why they need to buy your product, right? That's old school language for a new school problem, but that's still very true and that's still very important. And so I love what you just said about, like, we need to think about that as well. We need to think about how, you know, like, how is this website user friendly? How is the way we talk about our product, is that helping people understand why it's bringing value to their lives, and all that kind of stuff, which just, if you don't have a team or like experienced people working with you, you're not going to think about this stuff, right? And that could be really detrimental to your project or whatever you're doing, your company, whatever. Yeah.
I think two things I'm seeing right off the bat, Jamil, and I want your comment here, is like the values that I'm seeing portrayed on this website is you're focusing on the art, so it's talking about the creator, but it's also talking about community, right? The above the fold, right? It says where people come together to create and collect what's next. I think that's really good. Do you want to just focus on where you got that above the fold phrase and how you're going to like kind of work that in?
Yeah, so there are really, you know, and I mentioned this before, there are like 3 pillars to what we're doing, right? The first is the core marketplace, right? Which is where you buy, sell, trade things. The second is the creator tools. And the third is the social aspect and the social platform. And they sort of all intertwine together, right? I think what a lot of platforms like OpenSea miss, though, is on those second 2 pillars, which I think are extremely important for a marketplace. Most platforms basically look at it and say, hey, we're here to make our 2%, 2.5% commission. What's the best way we can optimize trading to get that commission, right? So OpenSea does this, right? They're like, we're just going to try and find ways to make people sell NFTs to each other, and it doesn't matter how they do it. We're just going to optimize for that one thing, right? And that makes sense. It's how you make money, right? But that doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel like the way that we interact in this community. It feels like a very Web 2 structure for how you organize a product, right? So the way that we're looking at it now is from the creator perspective, we want to provide you with decentralized tools that allow you to own your own collection, that allow you to express yourself in a permissionless way, that allow you to deploy, you know, your art in a way where we don't own it, we don't control it, we don't own the rights to it, we can't even disable your contract once you've deployed it, right? And then on the collector side, that sort of ties into that. You want to be able to interact and communicate and understand the art and the artists and where they're coming from, and understand other collectors too. I mentioned this in the Twitter space as well. Is like, I love it when I scroll through the marketplace and I hover over, you know, BNS names and I recognize people, right? These are people that I know, that are my friends, that I've met in person, that I've met on Discord. And OpenSea won't even think about that, right? Because that's not where their focus is. Their focus is in maximizing revenue and not necessarily building a platform for the community and for the artists that are the reason that they exist. So when we're talking about where people come together to create and collect what's next, it's not about Gamma, it's not about us, right? It's about the people that are using the platform. And we're not really doing anything except exposing that information up to you, right? To saying, hey, this marketplace is already social. It's already a place where you're interacting with these people, interacting with these creators. We just want to bring that to the surface and make it clear and allow you to experience things in a much more personal and much less transactional way.
It's funny you say that because I was just buying another Wastelander because I'm bullish on Project Indigo and what Vandal is doing, and I wanted to get one before the newsletter went out. And, you know, prices go up. But I saw the one I bought, I happened to purchase, was from Eli Herf. And so I just messaged him afterwards and was like, all right, I gave you the extra liquidity. Here you go. Go spend it on something nice. But it's that personal relationship you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just think that's really funny. All right. So I know you again. You have limited time. You're a busy man. I want to talk about the video. I've done video work for a long time, and when I watched that, it felt like Apple. Were you going for the Apple vibes?
Don't lie to us, Jamil.
Intentionally. But definitely, like I do honestly think that what Apple does well is they're able to communicate their message in a very clean and direct way, right? They actually don't have a lot of traditional marketing bullshit that you see in other companies. Their marketing is very clean, it's very direct, and it's very it's just done in a very thoughtfully and well-intentioned way. And that's a culture that I saw there as well. You know, I remember I tell this story as well. It sort of lines up with the marketing side, but I had a design review, and we were trying to showcase one of the projects that we were working on. And we went to the design team, and we're like, hey, you know, we have this cool new feature. It uses ML. It uses all of these cool technologies. And they're just like, we don't care, right? Is it good for the user? Is it a good user experience? And then my manager went, well, you know, Samsung does it. Why don't we do it? And he's like, we don't care if Samsung does it. You know, is it a good user experience? And I think those values come out in the products that Apple produces, in the branding that Apple produces. It's never punching at competitors. It's never like negative. It's always very focused. It's always very optimistic. It's always very pointed. And so it's less about replicating, you know, the specific style and like, you know, strategy or whatever. But I think embodying some of those similar values that I saw there that really, I guess, changed me culturally, you know, and changed the way that I see product, the way that I see product development.
I mean, it looks great, feels great. Have you guys seen an uptick in transactions since you released the new one?
I think it's still a bit too early to tell. I mean, when I looked at, I checked stacks on chain this morning. I mean, we saw in the last day we did about 5,000 stacks in transaction volume, which is more than the other marketplaces combined. So like Megapont, Stacksart, Byzantion, or whatever. So like over the past day, I think we've seen volumes like be really quite good. You know, I think, you know, more than double or triple the competitor. But like, I think it's still too early, right? That's just like one day, and it could be noise. It could be something longer term. But again, I mean, these are like, this is what I say as well. These are small volumes regardless, right? And we're not really looking at how well we do against the competition today, even though like our position is very strong. It still is a small market, and what we want to do is basically build up and this is how we built the platform from day one, right? It's not about making money. I mean, we could look at the transaction volume day by day and try to squeeze every single like, you know, dollar out of the community we could, but we're playing a long game here, right? I don't need the money today, right? That's not what I'm here for. If I wanted to make a bunch of money, I wouldn't be here, right? There are easier ways to be extractive and take people's money. It's about, you know, just building the best product we can, and if we do that, I think that's why we're here, right? I wouldn't be here if that wasn't the goal, right?
Yeah, if we wanted to make a bunch of money, we would just go rug Ethereum super hardcore and never be seen
right?
again.
Like I just don't get it when like people are trying to be like charging like 30%, 40% commissions on artists, trying to like up fees and stuff like that. It just doesn't make sense. Like, why are you even here? You're not going to make that much money. Just go somewhere else if you want to do that, right?
Right.
If you're here, try and do what's right and do the best that you can to build a great product for people.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that so many times over the past few years working in marketing and branding and just trying to help people start their companies. I'm like, if you're just here to make money, and not bring value to your customers, you're just a scumbag. Like that's just the way it is. Like if you're only interested in making money and not solving a problem for your customers, like what the heck, dude? That kind of sucks, you know? And yeah, I love, it's really great to hear, you saying these things, because you have such a cool product and it really is, focused on making people's lives better, and I dig that.
Well, appreciate you guys too. I mean, love what you guys are doing too, and I think it's very much in the same vein of those values. So, yeah, thanks again for having me on. I'll be in the audience now, listening in, but I got to jump from the stage.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for coming up, man.
All right, thank you.
Jake, you up? What are you thinking? What do you think of the new reveal?
Super good. By the way, I got to rug you guys. I'm walking back in to clock in back from my lunch, so I can talk for like 90 seconds.
You're good. You're good, boss.
But no, I love the revamp. Super dope. I was driving home when the transaction went live, and I ran to my computer, tried to get one, and it was already sold out by the time I got there, so I was pissed. But yeah, I've been trying to reach some of the people, because some of them I don't know, and so I've been messaging them via the memo form. So I send them like one stack, and I say like, "Hey, can I buy this in the memo?" And hope that like Jake Blockchain carries some weight, and they'll find me on Twitter. No luck yet, so I haven't been able to find anything.
Dang, that's cool.
I mean, that's pretty ballsy. It's like trying to Venmo somebody money just to send them a message.
I want one of Alexander's pieces, but they're not on the market yet. So there's some diamond handers.
What you doing, people? We know let the money flow.
Come on, bro. Let me get that for 420.
Let me get 420.69. Come on.
That's right. Sess is starting a whole trend with that. It's going to become the default bid.
Oh, dude, it's already happening with the. There's at least one thing on sale for that much on the Together with Gamma collection that I saw.
It's amazing. I mean, Sess has been working in the shadows for a while, so it's actually pretty cool. One, to meet him in person, because he really is that character. But yeah. the fact that it's coming to life in the community too is like he's building a brand that you can connect with, and it has its own kind of like ethos and personality, and it makes you connect with the NFTs so much deeper. So yeah, I'm super hyped on his project.
Yeah, we were just talking to him about what he's doing and what he's planning, and it's a lot of really cool, exciting stuff. Can't wait to see him like execute on some of the stuff he's dreaming up.
Yeah, it's crazy too. I didn't get to talk to Jamil while I was up here, but like I think his project only launched like 8 months ago, and when it did launch, it was like basically like a Google ripoff. Like the main page was just like a box in the middle, and it looked hella basic, and it just did what it did. Like it showed you the gallery, but that's all it had to be until we iterated over time. So I wanted to ask him, although he can't bring it back up, but like, how does it feel to move so fast? Like less than a year, and you've done that much already. It's insane.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah, if anybody in the audience has like worked with what was formerly known as STX NFT, I'd love to hear your perspective on what does it look like to over the last 8 months to grow in this space.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that. The where Stacks NFT came from, like what the first version was. That's really cool to know. That's really interesting to know.
Yeah, like V1 didn't even have a marketplace. It was just you typed in someone's BNS name, and you could see the NFTs they had in their wallet. And that was it.
Dang. That's cool. Oh, we got mad people up here now.
We got the crew up here now. I had a question, and people want to say stuff.
You're basically getting rated by the whole company now.
All right, have fun at work, Jake. Only 2 more days. 2 more days.
Proud of you.
For those of you who don't know, Jake is going to quit that job. He's working to go full-time in Web3, so make sure you buy his NFTs. That's a shill from us to you. All right.
Apparently,
the entire company is now here.
The Gamma Gang is going to come beat us up, is what it feels like. They're going to virtually
harass us. I'm here for it. Who wants to go first and just say, basically, anything you want to talk about the new reveal? I want to talk, if somebody knows more about the Grail like drop they did with one collectibles, how that all came out. whose idea that was. Somebody
Yeah,
spilled the beans here.
actually I can speak to that, but I have a noob question first because I'm not a Discord maxi here. As soon as I came up on stage, my audio switched so I'm holding my phone to my ear. How do you how do you change that?
Oh no, you're on mobile.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal, but
You sound
I'll
great.
try to figure it out later.
Yeah,
no,
you
I
sound-
can speak to the collection a little bit. It was honestly a blast, just kind of getting it together. It was actually a few weeks in the making. We had just been talking as a team, and we wanted to really embody the ethos of putting the creator first and the user first, and so we're like, of course we want to make a big splash with introducing the new brand and the social platform, but we didn't want to just make it about us. We really wanted to embody making it about the creator, and so we're lucky enough that all the artists in the space, I probably from a lot of the foundations that Jamil had laid, and just always being a friend to everyone in the ecosystem, and so essentially we reached out to about a dozen artists, and every single one of them was literally probably within 10 to 15 minutes most of them responded, and they're like, of course I want to participate, like I would want nothing else. And so we were really just honored that was the response, and honestly it felt very special as we were getting the art back. We would just see the pieces come through, and it really started to feel real that these creators had put their full effort into something to make something extremely special for us. They didn't actually know that it was for Gamma. They didn't know that this was about introducing a new brand. They were essentially just given a prompt that said, can you create some art that represents bringing people together around Bitcoin and Web3? And literally that was all that they were given. We gave them no restrictions other than that, and the fact that the art should be square, just so that all the pieces kind of had some kind of cohesion. But that was all that we said, and it was really incredible to see the artwork that came back.
Yeah, and you've got some incredible artists, like some artists that everybody knows in the Stacks ecosystem, and then some people that we might not know as well. How did you go about picking? Picking who do you reach out to? How did you come up with a list?
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was a science to it. It really wasn't. It really wasn't that way. It was kind of we had seen a lot of these artists on the platform before. Many of them were some of the earliest artists on the platform, like Frenchy Boops with Stackulence, and Dr. Sus with Saints, and just Alex. Lots of artists that had been from really, I wouldn't say that the absolute very first NFTs on Stacks, but certainly around that wave in Q3 Q4 of last year, where there was a big kind of wave of NFTs beginning. A lot of those artists had been with the platform for so long, and we really wanted to give them the opportunity to kind of share something really unique and special. And this was a commissioned collection. We wanted to make sure that the artists were paid for their participation, and then of course the mint price itself, it was somewhat arbitrarily chosen. But that went directly to the artists as well. We wanted to make sure that they had something from the community for their contribution as well.
I love that you commissioned the artist as well. I think that's really, because the mint price, right, is just $75. It's accessible. So you want people to feel like they have a chance to get in. But some of this art I know is already being sold for $420 and beyond.
420.69.
Yeah. So, and I know it's some really good stuff on here. We have, I think, all three of the Stacks photo guild now, photographers on there.
Yeah.
And so there's some bangers in there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was, if there was one kind of goal of in kind of recruiting artists for this, it was really just to get some artistic diversity there. We wanted to make sure that there wasn't just one particular type of art. So of course there were a few of the the popular PFP collections, like I may be mispronouncing his name, but I believe it's Ayub from Satoshables.
Right.
That kind of PFP style is very feels comfortable and homey for a lot of people in the ecosystem, I'm sure, and just an incredible artist. And then of course we wanted to also make sure that, like you said, included photography guild. We included some female artists, of course, making sure that they were represented in this space where that isn't always necessarily the case. And then of course even really unique works like Dial and Kaylin that make and Alex, actually, that make these more generative and really kind of computer generated works as well. So just kind of trying to include lots of different artistic diversity to kind of go towards that mission of putting the creator first.
So good. So good. I'm glad you did it. It was a nice kickoff for the rebrand. I thought it was real timed. I already complimented you, Nick, on the production value of the space. It did feel like I was listening
in the Googling royalty-free music.
Yeah. And I just, and this is my thing to Elon Musk, if you're listening later to this recording, please fix Twitter Spaces to allow a little bit more audio production, because we could kill it instead of just having music playing in the background of our rooms when we're doing this.
Yeah, that was the first time hosting a space, and I, quite frankly, I thought that there would be more control that you have. You basically have, like, bring someone up to stage, remove someone from stage. That is all.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
But anyway, I've done a lot of talking here, so I'd love. I know there's a few other incredible team members that probably have some thoughts to share and perspective to share. So, I'm curious to hear from them as well.
Sure.
Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. All right, let's see. JNAP, you're up. What from the beginning of Stacks NFT till now, how have you seen the company kind of change or grow?
Well, it's funny. This is my, I want to say, 9th day working for them. So
So you have big history.
Yeah. So when I first got into the Stacks ecosystem, I had a little bit of back and forth with Jamil. I really liked Stacks NFT as the marketplace that I used, and kind of just was like, let me see if I could schedule like a little networking call with him. And he was super receptive, and we had kind of a Zoom call. And at that time, I was like, there's really no way I'm going to leave, my fiat mining to go work for an NFT marketplace. And then the more time I spent on Stacks and the more time I spent in the community, the greater the itch became to actually do it. And so Jamil ended up following up with me probably 6 months later. So it kind of fits that timeline of like early Stacks NFT to where it was, I don't know, a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. And finally, like, was able to muster up the courage to quit the 9 to 5 and jump over here. And it's honestly like just only been having worked with them for the last 9 days. It just feels so much better to wake up in the morning and know you're going to like sit down and do something you like love being involved in, love the community of. And so like with the Gamma rebrand, it was so cool watching kind of the community come together. I do have to shill Nicole's art because she's definitely my favorite artist that doesn't get enough attention on Stacks. And it's just really cool, like especially at Bitcoin Unleashed, just meeting everybody. It was so fun and unique. And that was after I'd given my 2 weeks and I was working from my computer from the conference. I wasn't actually working, but I had to be online. Just trying to wrap everything up there. But just coming over to the Stacks ecosystem, it's been so cool. And now working for Gamma, it's kind of a dream come true. And never really thought I would make the leap into cryptos. So very exciting from my perspective.
Yeah, that's where I met you, was at Bitcoin Unleashed. And there is something about getting everybody together and you can feel the energy in the room. It's probably a lot easier to quit the 9 to 5 fiat mining when you see all this buzz happening and you're like, this is actually where I want to be.
Right.
It's so good. All right, Dat Gamma Spot. You've officially changed your name from Dat Green Spot to Dat Gamma Spot. You're fully logoed out. I'm guessing you're a new hire. How's that feel?
It's pretty fun, man. Thanks for doing this. I love you guys. It was nice getting to meet you guys in person too.
It was super good.
I definitely will go back to that green spot. That's kind of an idea I've had for several years, a little over a decade now. But just to make it known and easy that I can be a help if anyone has questions, I changed the logo and changed the name. But yeah, so I'm really new to NFTs and stacks. I consider myself probably like a third generation stacker because, I think last year was kind of a big kickoff with Stacks mainnet going live. But the more you learn, they've been building this out since like 2017, I believe. So it's a great community. I love that, they basically say we love Bitcoin. We're not trying to change it. That's kind of like the ethos. And that's sort of the reason I was drawn to Stacks in the first place. So I'm jumping in head first at the beginning of 2022, just 4 months ago. Stacks NFT was definitely what caught my eye. It was a real clean design, real simple interface. I could figure it out. And I'm like totally, green, no pun intended, to NFTs. But yeah, so I basically was in Megapont pretty quick. There's no secret, they're kind of the big dogs. And once I kind of figured out more about, okay, so NFTs are pretty much like a membership pass, and you can go meet some new people and share some ideas, get some good laughs. I kind of just went ape on everything. So I've been a big collector since then. And I think it was Jamil in 8 Village one day back in maybe February or something like that. But, he just asked if anyone had any feedback or just wanted to had any issues with the site, let them know. And there wasn't really any issues I had, but, I can't help but think about big ideas and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I got a few ideas for you. And as I started, DMing him, he basically was like, hey, man, these are actually really good ideas. I think you should talk to Nick. So basically scheduled a call with Nick. I think we ended up talking for like an hour and a half or something. I can be a chatterbox at times. So, but it was a great conversation. Pretty much all of the feedback I gave him, he kept laughing and being like, I can't really say anything officially yet, but I think you're going to like where we're headed. And so about a month after that was when I saw a tweet come on, their account just saying they were hiring for some admin help and little bit of technical support. And I've got a former life where I was an IT guy, and for the last few years I've been a tree climber and been a consultant for homeowners and their trees. So good at asking a lot of questions that people don't think to ask, and I think it just kind of made sense. And Nick was kind of happy to extend an invite. So yeah, I think it's been a little over a month now. I haven't really been with them too long, but since day one, they were piloting and talking about this new Gamma rebrand. So I've basically had to try to keep my mouth shut, of all the secrets, and which has been fun. It was really, really big treat whenever the Megapont guys were about to do MegaCong drop, and the secret channel was Gamma, for where you could just go click an emoji and get an extra whitelist spot.
Yeah. The whitelist. It was
hilarious. Our Slacks blew up. It was like, oh my gosh, we should totally try to run with this and make it a teaser. But we ended up not doing that, which is probably for the best. It was a nice reveal yesterday, or 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was done really well. All right, question before Longstreet. I know you're here and you're probably at lunch, so I need to get to you. But that Gamma Spot, how does it feel to wake up every day and work in Web3?
it's incredible. I mean, I've had 9 to 5 is kind of an exaggeration. When you're doing tree work, you're waking up at 5 a.m. to get to the shop, at the butt crack of dawn. And then, depending on how late the jobs go, you're staying late sometimes until it's dark. So it's weird because now, Web3 doesn't sleep and our marketplace is always open. So in some ways, like you really are kind of working 24/7, but it's such a different feel. And like, I'm genuinely interested in like hopping into some of these servers and seeing what people are saying, seeing what's new and, any crazy new thing going down. So it's such a flip from what you're used to, but I gotta say I love it. It's a really cool feeling, and yeah, I can't say enough good things about the team I'm with, and then just the Stacks community in general. It's the reason I'm still here, So it's great. Thanks for asking, guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
Of course, man. We're happy to have all of you here at little AirDrop Crew Discord as we try to help onboard people to Stacks. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to having all of you here to help us out.
For sure.
All right, Longstreet. Where are you at in the world?
Somewhere in Los Angeles in a beautiful music room. So I have a really fun space to work in. Like there was this $3.5 million grant written like almost 10 years ago. And they built this incredible music studio, and like not a lot of people know it about it in the district. So I really have like a fun space, like a play. It's my playground. So, and I don't have any babies around. So when I'm at work, like that's actually my best time to like get things done. So whenever I'm recording live music for any of these projects, I'm doing the tracking here in my nice studio, and I've included a couple videos from live in the studio and shared those out on Twitter. So that's the space I'm working in right now. But you're right, I am on my lunch break.
Hey, well, I mean, I have seen the studio from those pictures and videos, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, it really is fun. And like people can do the most incredible work with a laptop and like, an Apollo X, but it's really fun when you have a legit board and a G5, an old, like really powerful computer. So, and I can like track sounds in from multiple different rooms, and it's a legit studio. So I've just been having a lot of fun here, but I'm getting, as great as my gig is, I'm getting a little bit jealous of all these people who are getting full-time gigs in Stacks. That's kind of like the dream. I'm a little envious.
Is that your North Star? Has your North Star changed? Is that what we're looking at?
I'm so torn. I was talking with Vandal about this a little bit, and he said, to teach and to teach well is a gift. So don't be too anxious to leave. So I've been teaching for 15 years. I might not make it to 20. I don't know. My wife and I have some plans. Like right now we're talking about possibly moving to France, like just pulling up roots and living in Europe somewhere.
Dude.
But
do it.
That would be like a radical life change. So, you know what was amazing? So I'm really encouraged to do it. Well, because you just told me to do it. So now I have like the do it memes in my head. But
thank you.
I know so many more people around the world, and I know that I can like reach out to the Stacks community and say, does anyone know anyone in Europe or London or France, and can we do a meetup? So this is leading to so many fun opportunities. I know and I'm like 6 months into Stacks, maybe 8 months. I guess I got in over the summer. I had my Venice visuals ready in October, and it launched in January. So like so much has changed in not that much time. So I can't imagine where we'll be in a year from now.
And your work is killing it. Nick requested to be back on the stage. Nick, are you about to offer Longstreet a job?
Nick.
Silence. Well, I tried Longstreet.
He's checking with Jamil.
Yeah.
On mute.
How do we get Longstreet on the team?
So funny.
Well, you're right. You could totally go to France, and I mean, again, if you did it in a year, maybe 2, who knows where the NFT thing will go? And that could be a full-time thing. Like this thing is growing so fast. And what I appreciate about your work specifically, not only how like cooperative you are and how you work with different projects, but you are like you're building a legacy into it. And the Longstreet brand is growing, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, thank you. I also consider this part of my professional development. I started like with an anonymous account, and then it was actually Alexander. I reached out to him because I loved what he was doing. I had some ideas. He had some good advice, and he said it can be advantageous to be authentic and be yourself, and not hide behind anonymity. So that's when I just decided I'll just be Longstreet, because I do, and I've talked with all of you about being a teacher, and I feel like this is actually professional development, because we're going to be teaching our kids, our students, about NFTs and blockchain, and I just wonder if these two areas of my life are going to merge in the future, and I'll like make my own job somehow, where I'll be helping my students mint their own NFTs and make projects and interact in this space.
I mean,
I'm really hesitant. None of my students know like what my Twitter is, because I don't really want them to see my degeneracy. I don't want them to know like the floor value of my Stacks account.
right.
That green spot was up here. I'm gonna call you out right here, bro. And you're like, I'm new to this. Yeah, I found you on Gamma. I looked up your spot, looked up your wallet. You are not new to this. You got it figured
he is
out.
the biggest diamond hander on the team, I think. He has zero sales and probably like 300 NFTs of not inconsequential value. So good on you, Joe.
Oh, hey!
By the way, I wanted to before I was not offering you a job. By the way, I was on mute without realizing it, and I was like, "Why are they not like why are they talking over me right now?" I was kind of confused.
So rude.
No, I wanted to make sure I was either a force for good or evil here, but I just wanted to throw it out there. You should talk with Eli Herf Brett, who obviously needs no introduction in the space. But he was a teacher, and he's now full time with us. We are beyond lucky that he came aboard, and I think from talking with him, I don't want to speak for him, but it's he's in Australia. It's probably about 5 a.m. right there, so I don't think he can jump on quite yet. But I think from his perspective, he's still getting to teach people. He's helping with the community. He's creating lots of educational content and resources, and of course just being available and assistive to anyone who needs guidance getting started. So I think that you mentioned that word of advice. If you're a great teacher, that's a rare thing. I think those skills are incredibly valuable and transferable to Web3 as well. So I'll leave that there. You can do with it what you will. But I felt compelled to come up on stage and say it.
Nice,
Nick.
I gotta hop off here. I think Foss is gonna stay on, but I just wanted to let Longstreet know I just officially minted my first Venice visuals.
Hey, Rowdy's part of the team.
So that's happening. It's long overdue.
I'm gonna say it right here. Anyone who holds a Venice visual gets a free cup of coffee with me from the Cow's End in the heart of Venice Beach. So let me know when you all are down here.
Awesome. All right.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I'm stoked to see what it looks like. I literally just got it.
I still have a couple promos left, so I'll let you know which mint one, choose one free are left, and you can choose one.
Sounds good. I'll hit
so
you up.
You'll hold two. Thank you, Raoyan.
Right on. All right, Foss, keep killing it. You're doing a great job.
Yeah,
You're so good at talking.
We'll wrap this up right now. This is something we want to do every Friday. Little happy hour, get together, people in the crew, in the team, in the community, share stories, a place where we can meet and talk all things NFTs and what's new and what's happening, and give people a place to share. So I just want to thank everybody who came up: Jamil, Nick, JNapp.GreenSpot, Longstreet, Jake Blockchain. Like, I don't know. You guys make what we do very, very, very easy and enjoyable. So thank you so much.
Good to see you, friends.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks
guys,
for
for
having me,
hosting this.
Anytime. We'll see all of you next Friday.
All right, cheers.
Peace.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to. Yeah, sing us out. Longspeed, go ahead.
All right, I'm out. Peace.
Peace. I'm closing the bot that's recording.